Alright guys, my name is Vivian Fernando. I'm making this video about this stock called AMC. Since there is a lot of interest on this stock, so I decided to make this video to help out somebody that might have no clue on what to do with this stock. So hopefully by the end of this video, I answer a few questions such as if this stock is really going to the moon, number one, and number two is what you should do if you are a day trader with this stock, so that you're not buying the dead top and you're not selling the dead bottom, right? So let's get to it. Before that, let's make sure you guys understand that I am not a financial advisor, and this is just an opinion, my personal opinion on how this stock is trading and what I think it is going to do. It's not by any means a solicitation for buying or selling this stock or any other stock. This is only to help you educate, education purpose only. And hopefully by hearing this, you go back and do your own due diligence and understand how this stock is trading and create a plan based on that. So what I'm going to reveal to you today is basically my plan on how I would trade this. So let's get right to it. First and foremost, this is E-Trade Pro, and this is the platform that I use, and I like it. So I mean, again, this is not an advertisement for E-Trade, and E-Trade do not pay me for saying it. It's just something that I'm used to, and I like it. So here you go. This is a daily chart, a 1 month chart of the stock AMC. So this is a daily chart. So you can see these are moving averages. So I have 50-day EMA, and I have 21-day EMA, and then I have 8-day EMA. This is what I use for my technicals to kind of spot the trend. And you can clearly see based on how it is lined up, right? 8 EMA first, 21 second, 50 third. Based on how it is actually lined up, this is a very bullish momentum for the stock. Well, I don't have to say that because, you know, if you see on May 24th, the stock was trading at $13, like $14, $13.66, right? And then today, even though it's a down day, we're still trading at $47.50 after hours. So that is, I mean, if this is not bullish, I don't know what is, right? So definitely a bullish sign. However, I mean, I see videos and tweets that claim that AMC is going to $100,000, right? You have to understand that these people that are claiming that, they're not investment advisors, neither have they ever probably invested. They're just claiming, purely based on speculation, that this is going to $100,000. So their thesis for that is basically saying, well, we own the float, like all the retail own the float. So therefore, if no one is selling, the stock should keep going, right? There is a little flaw in that theory, right? Of course, if you're not selling, no one is selling the stock. If the only person that's selling the stock or short sellers, yes, it's a good chance it will keep going. However, you have to realize people are not dumb, right? So if you think you're not dumb, you have to understand that others are also not dumb. So if there are short sellers, they're watching the stock keep going, right? So they'll not hold it. Moreover, we just recently had GME go all the way to $500. So shorts are kind of scared, right? So they're not going to like step in front of it and say, well, I'm going to sell my house and put all my money on this stock and shorting it, right? So that is the only way the stock can like go crazy, right? If everyone is short this stock and then no one is selling, no investors selling, and the only sellers are the short sellers, then we would squeeze out, right? We'll keep squeezing till the time the shorts are present. However, you have to realize no one is dumb enough to hold it all the way to $100,000. I mean, theoretically, it's just doesn't make sense that it would go to $100,000. On the contrary, if you are thinking, well, will it go to 100? Right? So that's a very reasonable ask, because you can see yesterday we went almost, $72, 62 cents, and $100 is only like $30 away from that price, the HOD from yesterday. So that's a reasonable question to ask, whether or not it's going to 100, right? So we'll answer that. So how do I answer the first question? Whether it's going to the moon. Depends on where you think the moon is, right? So if you think the moon is $100, well, we might go to the moon. If you think, like some of these people, the moon is $100,000, well, I don't know what to tell you. So you probably have to think. Maybe after this video, you might get some ideas on how to go about it, right? If you're an investor that really don't want to sell it ever, right? There are some people are thinking of HODL, right? So I don't understand the concept personally, because I invest so that I can use that money for for my entertainment and enjoy it. If you're HODL, that's basically saying you're holding till death, right? So I mean, then when are you going to actually enjoy the fruits of your investment in the next life? I mean, I don't know. You think about it, right? But let's talk about technicals, because fundamental doesn't matter at this point, right? So you can say, well, there's this much debt and all that. The CEO has been smart. He has raised quite a bit of money, and at right prices too, so which is very impressive. So they're probably going to stay afloat and do really well for themselves. But as an investor, as a retail trader, how can you take advantage of these moves, right? That's basically what I want to talk about. So let's take a look at this stock on the big volume days. So you can see on 27th of May, the stock traded over 700 million shares, right? So if you even take the low of the day on this day, which is, let's see, 1831 was the low of the day on this day, May 27th. So if you take your calculator and say 700 million times, 1831, it's kind of insane, the amount of dollar volume this stock traded on that day. So basically, you can play any size in here, right? So, which is crazy and insane. And then since then, the stock has been trading over 500 million shares every single day. So, and yesterday was the biggest volume day of this move so far. You can see we traded, almost 900 million shares at prices starting from $37 all the way to $72. It's nothing but unreal at this point, which is amazing. I love what's happening here, right? There are a lot of people made banks, and there's a lot of people probably broke shorting the stock. So I hope this video helps. So let's look at this. So I already talked about the moving averages, and the red line you see here This is nothing but a VWAP. So basically, it's a volume weighted average price. So that's what VWAP stands for. The line that I have here is the biggest volume day where the VWAP was for the majority of the day for June 2nd, 2021. So let's take a look at 1 minute chart for the previous day. So you can see right here is the VWAP, and that's where I drew that line. So basically, this is kind of saying the majority of the volume probably bought the stock yesterday about this price, right? Well, no, that's not right. So let's try this again. So basically, VWAP is saying if it's above the VWAP, it's basically saying buyers are in control, right? So if it's below the VWAP, it is saying sellers are in control. Basically, anybody that would have bought this stock in this area, right, or anywhere in this area about the VWAP, they're all underwater right now, right? So imagine you bought the stock at this price at $72 when it was here. I mean, you lost half of it, right? 50% of the stock was down from the HOD yesterday. So that's why you want to be careful on where you are buying these stocks. There is nothing wrong in going long in the stocks. In fact, that's a very good strategy because there's momentum. People are buying it and people are shorting it. So why not take advantage of the momentum, right? But at the same time, you want to kind of understand where the buyers are, where the sellers are, so we understand the supply and demand. So all that stocks is supply and demand. If the supply exceeds the demand, the stock is going to go down. And if the demand exceeds the supply, theoretically it should keep going up, right? So that's what you wanna make sure when people are selling, you're selling, and when people are buying, you're buying. So that's what VWAP kind of, give you an idea of what to do in terms of buying or selling, right? So you don't want to be, buying the stock right up here, right? Even though it's above VWAP, right? You want to see an action where the stock is kind of basing around where most of the buyers are, right? And then that may be a good spot to buy. So let me explain what I just meant, right? So you can see majority of the volume yesterday, I highlighted here, came on these candles right here. So the price is basically between $48 all the way to $60, right? That's the area where majority of the people came and bought the stock yesterday, or majority of their shorts probably squeezed out. So that's basically what had happened on that day, right? So what do you want to do is that you want to see on the daily chart. So this is a 1 minute chart. On the daily chart, you want to see the stock kind of basing around this 5163 area to give you a confirmation that this is going to keep going north, right? So if it starts to peak out at 51, maybe we're going to go down and test maybe $30, $25 before it decides which way it wants to go. And you definitely don't want to be buying at $60, holding it all the way to, watching the stock go all the way down to $25 or $30. I definitely don't want to do that. I mean, unless you bought it at $2, now it's at $60. You don't mind holding it to that drop. I mean, that's totally fine. But then buying at $60, hoping that it's going to go to 100, but seeing it go to 25 would be, for me, that would be a very hard hold. So I want to see price action confirm to me that, hey, this stock is really going to go north, right? This is really going to go break that $72 high and keep going up, right? So in order to do that, I want to see either a peak action or a base action around this line that I just made, right? So basically, you want to see this stock. So basically, peaking action would be something like this, right? It kind of has this round, so from May 13th to May 18th, right, where it tries to break, but it's kind of like it's not really peaking action, because this is kind of like a doji candles right here. But then what you want to see is it goes up. There's long tails like this on the top of the candle, right? It tries to break it and it comes right back down. Tries to break it, comes right back down. Tries to break it, comes right back down, right? So, but it's unable to break. So an example of that would be like today after hours, right? The stock goes down and then it tries to break this line, but fails. Again, tries it, fails. Tries it again and fails, right? So this would be a peaking action, right? What would be a basing action? It's the opposite, right? Where you would see the stock breaks, comes back down, and bases here, and then goes up again, comes back down, bases here, goes back up again, and comes back down, and bases here. Now that would be a basing action. So if you go back here on the daily chart, what you want to see is on the daily chart, these candles, you want to see it go up, come back down, base around that 51.63 area, right? Once it starts to do that, then you would see, or starts to close above that area on a daily basis, maybe for the next few days, then this, like people that are hoping that it's gonna keep going down, that are short here, would start to cover, right? And then if people that are long, already there are a lot of people that are gonna hold it till they die. So if they don't sell, right, we start to base there, and this can definitely squeeze out and take out the $72 high, and we could definitely go to the moon in a sense. We go to maybe $100, right? But thinking that it's going to go to 100,000 would be insanity. But maybe thinking that it would go to 100 is quite possibility if we can stay above that 51.63 area. But if it starts to peak out there, then you have to start thinking as an investor. If you're an investor that bought it at 72 thinking it's going to go to 100, you want to start thinking whether you want to hold it all the way to 25, whether you're going to be fine with that. If you are, well, by all means, just hold it. But if you're not, then maybe you have to strategically decide on get out of this position. Maybe sell half or sell it all, right? If it's good for you to buy at 70, it should be good for you to buy at 25, right? So why not buy it lower? But if you are a day trader, you want to be careful if you're a short, if the price stays above that 51.63 area. And if you are a long, you want to be careful if the price stays below that area on the daily chart. Then you want to make sure you're not doing anything stupid and fight the stock. That's the last thing you want to do, right? A lot of time people lose is not because they're stupid, it's because they're stubborn. When they're long, they're wrong, but they wouldn't admit that they're wrong. They would continue to hold it, and all of a sudden they realize they've lost 50, 60, 70% of their investment. The worst part is there are some people probably like highly leveraged on this stock, taking a leverage to buy these stocks. I would not ever recommend that, right? So you want to, you want to invest the money that you're willing to lose. You don't want to be putting your retirement funds or selling your house and putting all your money in this stock, right? Instead, you want to be careful with how you play this as an investor or as a day trader. So I hope that helps. So basically, if the price going forward stays about 51.63, I really think we can have something special, right, with this stock. And but if that area start to peak out, I'm afraid that shorts are probably in control at that point, and they would probably, bring it down to $30 or 25. Who knows how lower it can go, right? If any of you are thinking, well, no, it can never do that, that would be insane because the stock yesterday was at $70. So there's no way it's going to go down to like 20, 25. Let me give you an example. So let's take a look at this. This is BTX. The stock went from $10 all the way to $80, kind of like AMC, right? So, and you can see the stock kept going down, and people were thinking, like, I remember seeing people buying these stocks like on these areas, thinking, oh, it's gonna bounce, it's gonna bounce. Well, here we are at $19 as of today. So never think on a long side, I will hold it, right? So I will see what this can do. And also never think on the short side, well, I'll see how I can go, right? If you're short at $10, you're squeezed out all the way at $80. So not a fun thing to do. So just be careful with how you trade this. So that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully I helped some of you. Be careful with this stock. And, I'm actually rooting for this stock to stay above 51. I really want this to stay above 51. And at the same time, I'm not biased. I would do it either way. I would trade it on the long side, or I would trade it on the short side, based on the price action. So I hope you guys do the same and just use this as a trading vehicle instead of thinking that this is going to make you a millionaire. So that's all I have for you guys. Have a wonderful evening.